What's up, my people? Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. Uh, Thank you so much to all of my veterans and to everybody in the active service. Thank you for everything that you do for us and for our country. I really appreciate you guys and salute. Hats off to you guys. Now, I wanted to make this video because it was this date last year that I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Now, it was crazy how it happened. I actually have a family history of diabetes, but I never really thought that it would happen to me because I live overall a pretty healthy lifestyle. I like to work out. I like to take a lot of natural remedies and so on and so forth. And I've always been relatively athletic growing up and even in my adult life. I'm 30 years old as of right now. When I was diagnosed, I was 29 years old. And I should have picked up on the signs, but I didn't really think too much of it. And full disclosure, it had been a while since I had gotten a checkup or even went to the doctor. So who knows for how long I could have actually had it or how long my body was putting up with it without me even knowing what was actually happening. But basically, around the time last year, around this time, I was, waking up in the middle of the night, really thirsty, drinking one or two glasses of orange juice, going to the bathroom a lot, to a few times a night. And I really didn't think too much of it, and it wasn't always that way. But it was around this time when I found out. And so what had happened was on the morning of 4th of July, around 3 or 4 in the morning, I had woken up again. I was really thirsty. So I had some orange juice, of course, like what I was doing at that time. And I felt sort of like a tickle in my throat, but I really didn't think too much of it. Fast forward that same morning, probably around 8 or 9 in the morning, I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I look in the mirror, and I look in the back of my throat, and I had a thrush of some sort. Now, my girl, she's in the medical field, so obviously, first thing I did was talk to her and ask her, "Hey, can you take a look at this? What do you think it is?" And she said, "Oh, well, it looks like it might be strep throat. I think we should go get you checked out." So we went to one of those, can't remember the name of it, but it's like one of those quick medical facilities. And we went over there. And so I got checked out. They did a rapid COVID test, nothing. They did a rapid strep throat test, nothing. And so the doctor, he asked me if I had any medical history or if my family had any medical history that he should know about. So I said, yeah, well, my father, he has diabetes. He's had it from basically my whole life, from when I can remember. And I know his side of the family also has diabetes and other health issues. So I always knew about that, but that's why I always try to like take extra good care of myself. And so when I told the doctor that, he figured it'd be a good idea to check my blood sugar, right? Now, for those of you who may or may not be aware of blood sugar levels, this day at the doctor, I was fasted. I had not eaten anything. And remember, this is 4th of July last year. During your fasted hours, your blood sugar should be less than 120, maybe even less than 100 per se. If you haven't eaten anything, that's like the norm. So 80, 90, from what I understand. Well, he tested my blood sugar and it was 375, which was like extremely high. And I was like, oh shit. And I looked at my girl, we looked at each other, and the doctor said, well, yeah, that's probably, you probably have diabetes. That's what might be causing your thrush. I'm still not 100% on how to explain the thrush situation, but it's basically how my body was processing the sugar and the yeast or whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's when I found out. And so at that moment, I really didn't know how to feel. I was kind of in shock. I think I took it pretty well, but I was still in a little bit of shock. And my girl, she was very supportive. She said, oh, whatever we have to do, we'll make sure that we get it taken care of. And so that week, I went to the specialist, and she tested me again. It was really high. And I specifically remember there was one day that week where my blood sugar hit like 500, which was like, that's like a really bad number. That's way too high. And I didn't really feel any different. That was the scary part, so who knows how long I may have had it for? Who knows how long my body has maybe been accustomed to this, that I didn't really feel dizzy or weird eye vision or anything of that nature. So it's probably more than likely my body had been dealing with it for a while. I just didn't know. And so for about a good month and a half, I was on insulin. The doctor, she was very nice, by the way, and she's still my doctor, and she's great. But because it was so high, she did what any other doctor would do and recommend, which was to get on insulin. Let's get it under control. And so for about a good month and a half, I was on insulin for about 3 times a day, and I was taking about 2 pills a day as well. During that time, I did take a lot of action towards making a lot of lifestyle changes. Working out more, not drinking as much, things like that, right? Picking up better habits. And so I think it was because of that, because of making those lifestyle changes and making changes on those habits, that's what allowed me to get off of the insulin. I never wanted to, and even till this day, I don't want to get my body used to the insulin, right? And I would like to eventually not have to take anything. I mean, up these days, I take 1 pill a day, and that usually keeps things under control for the most part. Some days my blood sugar is higher than others, but overall, I'm doing a lot better now. And I wanted to make this video because I'm sure there are other people out there who may be dealing with this or something similar. And one of the biggest takeaways for me is, number one, it really made me cherish my health a lot more than I already did. I take an extra effort now to make sure I'm taking care of myself and to make sure that I can be around here on this earth longer. For my family, for my girl, and for my daughter. I have a daughter now. She just turned 7 weeks on Saturday, and I want to make sure I live a long, healthy life. So taking care of myself and making my health a priority has been crucial. Another takeaway is how you respond to these things, right? One of the things that the doctor recommended was for me to wear a little device on my arm that would keep track of my blood sugar, and I did for a while, but I stopped, and I now these days I just check manually. I poke my finger and check my blood sugar that way. And here's the reason why. That device, it took like an emotional toll on me, like a mental toll on me. It made me feel like I was sick, and I think that's one of the biggest things that could make or break you when you're going through something like this is how you feel. And I never wanted to feel sick. I never wanted to feel like a patient. I didn't really want to tell people about what was going on because it number one, I really keep a lot of my business to myself, and number two, I didn't want anybody really like feeling bad for me per se, right? But the second reason I took the device off was because it was connected to my phone, like through Bluetooth, and it would let me know when my blood sugar was too high. It would let me know when my blood sugar was too low. If I stepped away from my phone, it would go off. So it was constantly going off, this thing, and that's when I decided I don't want to wear this anymore. It was too much of a constant reminder that something is wrong with me, and now I don't have an issue with something being wrong with me, especially when I'm taking the steps to fix it. But to be constantly reminded that I'm in a way I'm sick, right? It's not a good feeling. So that's why I took it off. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because today, 4th of July, is basically my 1-year anniversary of dealing with diabetes. Life could be a lot worse. I mean, I've definitely made a lot of great changes. I've done a lot of great things this year, and I'm happy and I feel blessed with what I have going on. But I hope that any of you that may be dealing with this or any other type of sickness or things of that nature, I want you to make sure that you don't treat it as a crutch. You're not less than because you might have this health issue or whatever it is. You're not weak. You're not sick. If anything, you're strong, right? And this is just a reminder that no matter what you're going through, number one, it could always be worse, and number two, you can get through it, right? I understand and I realize that I'm probably going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life, but all I can do is deal with it the best possible way that I can deal with it. So that's my video for today. I hope that all of you have a safe and happy 4th of July. And this is just a reminder to also not neglect your health, right? If you haven't gotten checked up in a while, you should get checked up. Like I said earlier in this video, I'm 30 years old now. And it's around this age where things start happening to you, right? Health-wise as well. So I think it's important for you to get checked out, even if you're younger or if you're older, doesn't matter. Get checked out and don't take your health for granted, because we only have one life to live, right? And we won't have a very long one if we don't prioritize our health, right? So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And take care. Until next time, guys. Peace.